Hey everyone, it's Tyler and Michelle Strike from Universal Rackets, and this is going to be an amazing video. This amazing video is going to consist of us reviewing the brand new Selkirk Vanguard Control Pickleball Paddle. Also, we are going to be comparing it against the Selkirk Vanguard Power Air Paddle. So this is the brand new paddle that everyone is talking about. We're going to be giving you all of our thoughts, and also we are going to be comparing it against the Power paddle. Like the name states, this one's control, this one's power, but let's really see what we think about. So in this video, we are going to be going through every single shot. I'm going to be going through the dink, the drop, the serves, the volleys with the control and the power versions of the paddle. I'm going to be giving all my thoughts. Then Michelle is going to be going over the control, the power on all the different shots. So you're going to get two different perspectives on two different paddles on every single shot. So if you stay tuned for this whole video, you're going to be able to learn about the new paddle as well as which paddle's right for you, because when players are going to look for which Selkirk paddle to purchase, they're going to probably be deciding, should I use the control or should I use the power? I'd like to say at first, we have the Invicta model. And what I mean by that is there are three main pickleball paddle models. So if you go and you're going to purchase the control paddle or the power paddle, they'll ask you in the options, do you want to use the S2 option, the Epic, or the Invicta? And what the Invicta means, it's a more elongated shape, more extended handle if you have two hands, as well as you're able to, in my opinion, you should always get the Invicta because you can get to way more balls. You like the Invicta as well, right?
Yeah, it was funny when you said if you have two hands. Like everyone has two hands. You mean a two-handed backhand?
Two-handed backhand, yeah, of course.
I have a two-handed backhand and I have two hands.
Yeah. Now, initial thoughts about this, okay? Number one, this one comes in all these different colorways. This one is only in this black form, but it looks super cool. This has a raw carbon fiber surface. This has a more flat surface. Now, this one has a ton of spin. When you rub your hands on this one, you still get that type of grit, but it's the same type of material throughout the paddle. We taped our paddles on the side, but this one has the actual paddle and then the edge guard around it. This one, there's no edge guard. It's just this whole type of material throughout. But again, it's still pretty gritty. Now, for this one, as you can notice, there is a hole in the paddle. This one, there is not a hole in the paddle. The hole in the paddle is for more aerodynamics. When I move it, I can really feel like I can whip this paddle and move it more than this one. Now, many people ask, with the hole, they say, does the ball hit the hole in the paddle? Does it affect your game? And Michelle, what do you think about that?
I don't think it affects your game, but the ball has hit the hole in my paddle when I used to use the air.
Yes, and the ball has hit the paddle before, but in all my games, the ball, as you can see, the hole's small, right? So if the ball comes and hits it, it's going to hit this part and this part of the paddle. It's going to hit the front and the top of the paddle. So it's not going to affect the actual shot.
Also, if you have accuracy in your game, you should be making contact with the ball in the sweet spot of the paddle, not with the hole.
And I want you guys to look at it right here. Like, look how different. This is such a longer handle than here. We're what? We're putting it up here, I guess. This one has a longer handle, and this one, for the power, the frame extends lower more with that hole. Now, as you guys can see as well, we'll hold it up here. This one is way skinnier than this paddle. Once again, this paddle is way skinnier than this paddle. It's crazy, but the amount of power and pop that this can generate is so much. And you guys will see that in this video and see the amount of control that you get if you stay tuned. So should we get started?
Yes.
Let's go. So the first shot that we're going to be testing the paddles on and giving our opinion is the dink. Michelle and I, we're going to be going back and forth. I'm going to be dinking with the control paddle right now. Then we're going to switch paddles. I'm going to dink with the power air paddle, give my thoughts. Then Michelle's going to come over here. She's going to get the mic and she's going to give her thoughts on the control paddle and then the power paddle. So we're going to dink back and forth. Here we are. And the first thing that I would like to note with this paddle, and like all of their Vanguard paddles, is the control or the feel you have to get used to. It's a distinct paddle feel. Like there's some paddles I feel like you can just automatically pick up and it feels super good. This has a distinct feel to it. It's a different type of feel. Now the second thing that I'd like to state is that I do feel like I have I would say, a hunk of a paddle, if that makes sense. I can really feel how big the paddle is, how thick the paddle is. I got a lot of paddle, which I feel like when I'm hitting speed ups or I get in hands battles, I think it will be good because I really feel like I have a lot of paddle to work with and utilize. Let's do some fast hands too. Now with fast hands, I like it. It does have good control. We're not hitting super fast right now, and we're trying to rally with each other, not win points. But I feel like I do have mobility. It feels good too. I feel like I have good hands. Yeah. Let me hit a couple more. Let me try some resets. Here we are. So here's one big thing with the control, and this is what I thought. When Michelle hits the ball at me, and if I hold the paddle out, it does need a little bit more power. I do feel like it doesn't just fly off that paddle. So try to do that again. Do a couple fast hands with me, and I'm just gonna hold the paddle out. Yeah. So this is probably where the control kicks in. When she hits hard to me, and if I try to reset the ball, I kind of need a little bit more. I feel like it's not flying off the paddle. Now let's try to power air paddle. Let's switch.
Sounds like this is gonna be the complete opposite.
Here we are, yeah. So that was the control, now this is the power.
Are we dinking?
Yep, so the first thing again is that distinct type of feel, especially with this power air paddle. It's a different type of feel. At first when I picked up this power air paddle, I did not like how the paddle felt, but then I stuck with it and I got used to it, and then I felt okay with it. But again, I can feel the lightness of this paddle. Not only the lightness, but the skinniness of this paddle. It feels very like fast. I can flick it, I can maneuver it quickly because it's such a thin paddle. And again, the distinct feel, I can really feel that. Like the name states, I feel like I have so much power with this paddle. I feel like every single time, even if I just move my hand a tiny bit, the ball flies off. Just do some fast hands. Yeah, this comes off way faster. And I feel like I can really, like that one, I didn't even do anything with that paddle and it just flew right off. Here we are. I'm gonna do some resets now. You hit it hard. Okay, a couple more. Yeah, so especially with this paddle, when she hits it, when it hits my paddle, the ball's going to fly off every single time. That paddle has a little bit more feel, it's a little bit bigger. I feel like I have, again, paddle to deal with that pace. But this paddle, I feel like every single time that I hit it flies off. And that's probably why that's called the control and this is called the power. All right, should we switch? Let's go.
All right, so now I'm gonna be dinking with the control paddle and giving you my thoughts. So I am a huge fan of having more control in my game because I feel like a lot of times the paddles, they bring the power, but for me, I need to be able to defend these big, powerful shots. So that's why I love a control paddle. I also like the fact that it has a bigger surface area and it challenges me to make sure that I can generate my own power, which I've learned how to do as I've been playing more often. Now, I think that this is going to give me more spin as well because I didn't come from a rackets background. And the way that the ball comes off with my top spin, it just seems so much more spin. There's more spin coming off of the paddle because of the carbon face. So many times too when I'm playing, a lot of my shots recently I've been like, wow, how am I getting all of these balls back that I used to miss before? And I keep saying it's the paddle. And genuinely, it's almost like magic the way that the ball comes off of this carbon face, and I'm a huge fan. I think that having a thicker paddle also is good for me because it helps me with the speed ups and the guys coming at me with all of their power.
Should we do fast hands?
Sure. All right, so now we're gonna do fast hands. All right, so with the fast hands, I love the fact that this has more control and thickness in the paddle, because when the ball's coming super fast at me, I need to have the type of control to slow this down, because my goal when someone's coming at me with power and speed is to reset the ball in the kitchen. Now I know Tyler said that he likes it when the ball pops right off of his paddle. I prefer and need control in my game, and I want the ball to be reset in the kitchen. So I feel like having thickness and control behind my paddle, as long as I'm more down in my legs, the balls are gonna be reset nicely into the kitchen. So if you're looking for spin and resets in your game, the control is the paddle for you. Now, let me see this power air. This was my OG paddle. I loved this paddle. And I'll let you know what I think when I start dinking with it.
Let's go. One thing that I want to say, at least from using the power air, because I was on the other side dinking with you and volleying with you while we were doing that, I haven't used the power air in forever. I've been playing a ton with the control, with the Lux, with different paddles. So to go back to the power air and try to keep the dinks going and the volleys going for you while you were talking about your review on the control, I had to like try to contain it so much. Like the power, I'm like, whoa, oh my gosh. Like I was not trying to hit hard to you.
Yeah.
And it was like noticeably, I had to like try to slow it down even more. The power coming from using this all the time is unmatched.
Right, and that's something that I'm gonna talk about too while I'm playing with this, is there is one word that describes this paddle in my mind that you have not used.
What?
And it's pop.
Yes.
This has the most pop in a paddle I have ever played with. Like he said, when he first started dinking with the air, the power air, is that he said it flies off his paddle. I feel like when I first picked this paddle up, I thought it was like a wooden board. I really felt like I was very confused the way it felt in my hand. Also, I think that this handle is shorter in the air. I think that the control has a longer handle, so it's easier for me to get my both hands on for my two-handed backhand, which is like very crucial to have, especially if you're playing women's. So here is the power air. Let's dink. All right, so here we are dinking with the power air. Now, the pop on this paddle is insane. I feel like I love control in my game, and I have to work really hard to find control because this paddle has so much pop and power. Also, the sound that the ball makes coming off of here is it feels just like the word is pop. It has so much pop, it has so much power, but I feel like for me in my game and playing women's, I need the control because I've learned how to generate my own power on the court. Also, this spin and the spin, oh, I didn't know you had another one. The spin coming off of this paddle, it seems less controlled and more affected by the power that this paddle brings. I do love the aerodynamics with it, how it has the hole, because I feel like I can move it faster. It seems so much lighter, but I like to have the weight and the power, the control behind with the thickness in my paddle. So let's do some fast hands. Yeah, I don't know, I like the control better.
Too much pop.
Too much. Yeah, so this paddle moves quickly in the air, quickly at the net. If you like power and you need that in your game, go for this paddle. If you like control and you know how to create your own power, I almost feel like the air, I understand why they made other versions, because this it's like all power and there's no control in this paddle at all. That's why I feel like I'm playing a little bit like erratically with it, because it's been so long and it's just everything just pops right off of it.
Yeah.
So if you're only ever looking for power in your game, this is, I feel like, the paddle for you. If you like control, finesse, spin, all of these new additions to the Selkirk lines are going to be it for you.
I feel like it's like Coke and Pepsi. Like
They're very different.
Like, yeah, it's like night or day.
And then like we talked about the other paddles, like the Lux Control Air is a very soft paddle. So that's actually, I feel like, the complete and polar opposite of this paddle. This one has kind of things together with it. This control reminds me of the Lab 6, which is another huge favorite of mine.
This is the 002 version of the 002, and the Lux that we're talking about, that's like the 003.
Right, so they have projects in their labs project for Selkirk, and do you want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so basically any 00 paddle, like the project line, from what we know, it's like the base model, right? Or they try to make it, they get feedback, everything.
It can't go to mass production as a lab.
And then they test it, they get feedback, everything like that, and then once they feel good enough, then they put it into mass production. So for example, they had the 002, they gave it out. I think they have an exclusive Selkirk club to get the paddles you have to be part of.
A labs member.
And what you have to do is you will test it, give feedback, everything, and then once they feel like they're good, they're like, okay, let's put it in mass production, and then here we got the Vanguard Power Air. Same thing with this. They put out the 006, they got feedback, everything like that.
This is the remake of the original Vanguard.
Yeah, and then they put it into mass production. And like you said, the original Vanguard, which was a paddle, I think even before... It
didn't have the raw carbon face.
No, and I think that was even before we were.
Yeah.
Like...
It was before our time.
Yeah, way before our time, back in the 1800s.
Yeah, that's when it was.
The Vanguard. Okay, so should we work on drops and drives?
Yes.
All right, let's go. So I'll start out.
Okay.
You will...
Have this one?
No, I start out with that one.
Aww.
And here we are. Yeah, I know. Going back and forth between these it's like messing up my game. Because I expect the ball to like go over and it like flies over. If I expect it to fly over and then it goes over. One thing though with these, with this, and you can come over here when I'm talking about this, is that I feel like off of first hit, I want to use that paddle, but I know there's certain points in my actual game outside of drilling and just going back and forth with the video that I'm going to need some control to compensate for my lack of control. So picking it up first dibs, I kind of like that paddle because it just flies off, but long-term and sustainably, I know that that paddle's not going to be amazing for me. All right, are you ready? We're gonna do drops over here.
Something. Also, I feel like it's so crucial for you to know what kind of pickleball game you have. Like I can't say, oh, you want power, take this paddle. Are you playing with paddle? Do you need to create paddle? Do you know how to create power? If so, you have to find out which one's right for you.
Yeah.
Tyler and I have actually never used the same paddle at the same time because our games are so insanely different.
Yeah.
So you have to be honest with yourself and know what kind of game you have and what will support your game the best.
And one big thing as well as with testing paddles is that you should always give yourself more than one time to test it. And what I mean by that is like, if you play bad, you have a bad day, maybe it's a new paddle, give yourself 2 or 3 pickleball outings before you go, this is the right paddle for me, or this is the wrong paddle for me. And that's huge.
And it's kind of like breaking in a pair of shoes, like these new Skechers. Love these shoes now where there's so many times where I put on a new pair of sneakers, I'm like, oh, they hurt my feet, I don't like them. Well, give yourself some time and don't just change out your paddle immediately till you can confirm that you either really do like it or you don't.
And you have to get used to the paddle too, right? So you have to get used to the feel, get used to where the ball is going to go. There's a lot of big factors. But if you're playing like 5, 6, 7 times, it still doesn't feel good, don't get that paddle.
Yeah.
And another big thing is players, they'll play with the paddle once or twice, honeymoon phase, just like I would have with the Power Air, right? I'd be like, oh my gosh, this pop's amazing. I'd buy it real quick, and then all of a sudden my control will break down. It's not right for my game. So if you like the paddle, don't just buy it off of your first hit as well, if you have a chance to demo them. All right, so we're gonna do drops. We're gonna do drops over here, and let's get started. All right, so now I'm going to be testing the drops with the control paddle. Let's go. Now, I think what's going to be funny is I'm going to go from the control to the power. Now, I feel like when I have the power, my drops are going to go so high because of the amount of pop, as the Pickle Yogi said, that paddle actually has. But again, for this paddle right now with my drops, I can really feel the ball. I have great feel, and I also have great spin. I have great touch. I think this is a great touch paddle. And make sure you stay up at the kitchen when you return those drops, right? Backhand drop. Let's do some spin, top spin drop. Oh, yeah, and this is why I'm playing with this paddle. And this is why this is my paddle of choice right now. With this carbon fiber surface, I can really brush the back of the ball. I feel like I can grip the back of the ball way more than I do with a normal paddle. Really brush the back of the ball. So here we are, let's do a couple more. Yeah. And I like this paddle because it doesn't have all that power, so I can always get my drops either in or close to the kitchen. Whew. Let's try some drives, ready? Oh, the amount of top spin and shape that I can get on this ball. So the way that paddle face grips the ball, I can get tons of shape on my shots. I can really feel that top spin. Like, it kind of feels like I'm hitting a tennis ball, to be honest with you. Here we are, let's do a couple more. Back in. Oh, and you see how low that got? Like, that's insane. Now, however though, with power, I think I'm gonna hit the ball as hard as possible, and it doesn't even fly over, to be honest with you. So I feel like for that ball right there, I didn't hit it as hard as I thought that I was going to hit it, I think. Let's try it again, here we are. I feel like I'm going to jet the ball, and the ball, it goes hard, but it doesn't go as hard as I want. If I really want to generate pace on that shot, I really need to swing hard and use a lot of my strength and my rotation and my muscles. So again, that's where I feel like the power air will come in handy. So let's switch, let's try the power air. We're going to do drops and then drives. So we have our friends over there who are playing a pickleball match right now. I'm a little bit tentative to try to go for my drives and my drops. No. You know the reason why I'm a little bit tentative go for my drives and my drops? Because this paddle is going to have so much power, and going from this to this, I feel like my drops are going to go to the moon and my shots are going to go like long.
And I want to say something about receiving his drops. They were all beautiful, incredible. They fell right into the kitchen. They had tons of spin that I was returning off of your control paddle drops.
Yeah.
It was great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You being serious?
Yeah.
Wow, thanks, babe. All right, let's check that's still recording, and let's do the drives and the drops. The drops and the drives. How's this video so far? Good? All right, so here we are. Let's do the drops. Okay. So for drops with this paddle, it's honestly not as bad as I thought, but I know because I've played so long what this paddle is going to do, right? So like for this paddle, I really have to not do much to get my drops. I really need to just let that paddle just sit there. And that pop that Michelle said, look, I'm not even moving the paddle. Okay, it was a little bit shallow, but it's still going to go over. The moment that I really swing, it's going to maybe go a little bit too long. But honestly, it's not going as long as I thought. Maybe that's because my drops are so good. I don't know. Okay. Takes a lot. It's the feel. I don't have feel on this paddle. I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm as stable. Like, I feel like this would be more for an advanced player. I feel like for a beginner, intermediate, club level player, I feel like that'll just give you so much more confidence on your shots. Let's try a couple more. Here we are. Yeah, I feel like when I feel this paddle, it being so not thick, it being really skinny, it being really poppy, I feel like this is for more of a high level pickleballer that has the perfect technique. There's no compensation whatsoever except with power. All right, are you ready to get absolutely annihilated with the drives? Let's go, here we are, let's see what happens. Here we are. Okay, maybe. Okay, here we are, another one. There we are. Okay, yeah, so the amount of power that I have on these drives, power that I'm not even trying to generate, is absolutely insane. The ball is literally flying off my paddle. Hopefully I get a cut. There we are. Yeah. It's insane. Now the spin though, I still get a ton of spin. I still do get a ton of spin. Let me do a couple backhands. Here we are. The spin, I still have spin on this. It's just feel. You get spin on both of these paddles. Don't get me wrong. You get spin.
The spin's
it's
harder
feel.
for me to. The spin was more noticeable returning your balls from this paddle. This is all power. You're still getting spin.
But you still get spin.
Yeah, just more power.
This carbon face gives you feel and spin. Like you get spin on both the paddles, but this you have more confidence and more feel. That's the best way I'd describe it. Less feel, more feel. Still both spin. Still I was able to rip those balls low when I had a shot.
This is great for tennis players. This is like you're swinging a tennis racket.
Yeah.
I think from what I've faced from you with both paddles,
Yeah.
like, that's a tennis player.
However, though, I'm a tennis player, but I'm still going to play with this.
Because you need control. You don't need extra power.
Okay.
I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like that's why you're great with the Lux too.
Yeah, maybe. All right, your turn. Let's go. This one.
So far, sorry, I love the thickness of this paddle, the control it has, because a drop is all about finesse. I just feel like this is an extension of my hand when I'm playing. And I guess that's what Tyler meant when he was talking about the feel of his drops with this paddle. It gives me precision in my drops. And the ball is coming off my paddle with more spin than I'm even intending to create. I'm a huge fan of this paddle for drops. Kind of nervous to hit with the power air next because I'm not sure how high those drops are going to be. Because here's a drive. Other one?
What do you think about the drives? You just said drives. You didn't say one thing.
Because I don't know what to say about a drive. I don't do them. All right, let's try some drives. I feel like with the drives with this control paddle, I have to work pretty hard for them. However, they are going in. And I feel like for my game, I use more drops more often than I do drives. If you like to drive the ball, you're gonna have a lot more control and knowing exactly where your ball is gonna land, and you can generate spin. This paddle is actually generating it for you. With your drops, you're gonna have more of a finesse and a precision with yours using this thicker, more control paddle. So I can't wait to see what's gonna happen when I hit with the air right now back at the baseline.
Here we are. Good luck.
Thank you. And it's funny though, because this used to be my paddle. I would use this paddle all the time. It feels heavy in my hand too. Switching from the control to the power. Ready? Great start. I already don't like how this paddle sounds. The pop. You know what it is? The whole time I've been using this paddle and every single demonstration we've done, dinks, drops, drives, whatever it is, I feel like this paddle is out of control for me. My hands, the fast hands of the net, I feel out of control with this paddle. I'm not saying it's a bad paddle, but for my game, I'm being honest, I need control in my game. I don't need less control and more power. Yeah, I also feel like my drops are kind of hanging up higher than I want them to be. And even there, where I try to get under the ball, it didn't do what I wanted it to do. Now, I'm not fully blaming the paddle because I know I'm the one doing the drop. It just gives me less control. All right, let's try some drives. This feels like a tennis racket. It feels super powerful. It pops like a thin wooden board, which is what I feel like it is. I love Selkirk, and this is my first paddle, but I've just upgraded to the control fiber, carbon fiber, more control paddles for my game and myself.
Yeah, I feel like in all aspects of play right now, if you are a super technically good person, you end points quickly, you know you have all that power, then give yourself some more power.
Yeah.
And go with the power air.
If you're refined.
Yeah.
Because that's what this lacks. It lacks the buffering.
I feel like this, it gives me the forgiveness. Even for myself, I consider myself a super powerful player, but I still need this because I just need to get that feel with my touch and the kitchen shots and everything like that.
Yeah.
However, though, maybe I would use this if I was super aggressive. Like, I would consider myself an aggressive pickleballer, but I still like to dink, set up the shots, drop. I don't just drive every single ball. However, though, if I did, that's why I would play with that for sure.
Right.
All right, so should we test them on the serves?
Sure.
Let's go. All right, so now we are going to review the serve with the paddle. So first we have the Invicta Control Vanguard paddle. So I'm going to serve the ball. I'm going to take my paddle back, so hopefully you're not too close to me. And here we are. I love this paddle for the serves. Not only, I feel like I don't lack power with my serve with this paddle at all. I feel like there's no lack of paddle with the serve. Also, I love the amount of spin that I can get. So if I want to hit a top spin serve, the shape that I can create due to this surface is absolutely amazing. So again, if I want to hit, especially even like a slice serve, if I want to hit a slice serve, I can make that ball bend over to the right or left extremely easily. If I want to hit a top spin, I can really grip that ball. If I want to hit a normal serve, I still have that touch, that feel to really give me confidence to hit a good serve. So I think 10 out of 10 on serving in every single aspect. Now I also, if I can recall, I really like the serve on the power air as well. Like the name states, you get a ton of power on your serve, but the amount of pop that I can get, I can go way bigger on this paddle than I can with the control. Now the control doesn't lack any type of power, but this paddle, it's like, I feel like it's like a bionic paddle or something, or like, it's like has superpowers on it. The amount of pace that I can hit on these serves is absolutely insane. And what I mean by that is I can just do so little and get so much. I feel like if I have this paddle all the time for just serving, I wish I could have this paddle only for serving. So I would serve the ball and then I would take this out and then I would get the other paddle. The reason why is because like, I feel like people won't be able to return my serve with this paddle. And I remember I was playing with our friend Poongi, and Poongi was using the power air. And Poongi served with the power air, I could not touch because there was just so much pop. But then when Poongi went back to his other paddle, I was able to return them more. So like, it's not just me, I feel like this paddle makes people serve absolutely insane. All right, your turn, let's go.
Okay. All right, now I'm gonna test out the Vanguard Control with my serve, see how it feels. I love it. I love the spin that I get off of this paddle. I feel like it's very easy to serve the ball where I want to serve it with accuracy. I'm very used to playing with the control paddle because I need to get my serves in. I typically don't miss my serves, and I feel like it's because I have such finesse and I just have so much more of a feel with this paddle when I'm serving. We'll do one more. Big fan. Now for the power air. Let's see how I feel serving here with this paddle. you can hear the paddle whizzing by as you're serving because of the aerodynamics, and it moves faster in my hand. And I feel like even with the pop, it feels like I don't have to work hard to get the serve where I want it to go, but I also feel like it has so much power that even just tapping the ball in for the serve, it could go long easily for me, for my form that I use for my serve and for my game. I'll try one more. I used to serve open stance with this paddle. And I just feel like it has power, it has pop like Tyler said, but I prefer more of precision and control, especially on my serve, because I need it to be deep and to my opponent's backhand, and I feel like I will have such more success with a more control, precise paddle than one with power and pop. So this completes our review of the Power Air and the Vanguard Control.
And just some closing remarks. As the name states, there's really no better determinant than this one's for control, this one's for power. In our opinion, make sure you always get the Invicta. Now, we are sponsored by Selkirk. So what that means is Selkirk always gives us all the brand new paddles. We don't have to necessarily purchase paddles, right? So like I would be way more particular if I did have to make a paddle purchase. So what I mean by that is Selkirk first came out with this. We had this paddle, everything like that. Then we got the Lux, we got the 006, all those. And basically my game, I evolve with Selkirk and the paddles that they give me. Now, if I really wanted to stick with a paddle, I'm not sure exactly. Like I feel like maybe the amount of power that I get and pop with this and whippiness, maybe I would stick with this, and maybe I would just learn how to deal with that
and control your game.
Control and improve and get used to this paddle. Because if I'm playing like super technical, super high level, everything's perfect. Like if I was Ben Johns or Tyson McGuffin or whoever, and I had those skills, I would use this paddle.
You know what else about this Power Air paddle? It comes in amazing colorways.
Tons of colorways and everything.
Super fun. Like they have the Prestige line on that, the pink, this exact kit right here.
Yeah.
The pink and the blue, and they're super cute. So I know there's a lot of people who buy a paddle because of how it looks. So if you're that kind of person, the Power Air has the
and they have
widest
that Legends
range.
collaboration, everything. I'm not sure what Selkirk's going to do with this paddle, because can they make this raw carbon fiber surface a different color? I'm not sure if you can make it without affecting the playability of the surface, so I'm not sure.
There's some glitter.
Yeah, I think it looks really cool. I think it kind of looks like spider webs in a way.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah. So it's really cool. But again, this is a big point. We evolved with the Selkirk paddles. Like Selkirk's like, hey, this is an amazing new paddle. I'm going to take this paddle and play with it because it's like exciting, it's new, everything.
Right.
Why am I going to spend time working on this paddle? I'm not going pro. I'm not going to win prize money tournaments. However, what I'm trying to say is if they didn't show me that, maybe I would stick with this.
Another thing is too, they don't want to, not every person watching this video wants to be a professional pickleball player, but what do? They want to win more matches.
Yeah.
So to win more matches is to choose the paddle that's right for your game, as I mentioned before. So I know I don't have the kind of game that you have, but I feel so much more confidence. I get way more balls back with this paddle, where I feel like that paddle is going to cause more of my balls to go out of bounds. So I'm going to pick this one for my game.
I know you're going to pick it, but like we do have very different games, but I'm still going to pick this as well.
That's fine, because you're being honest about your game, and you want to win more matches when you're playing. So do these people. So they should just pick the one that is good for their game.
Excuse me, if you're playing rec play or something like that.
I'm going to win more games with this paddle.
If you're playing rec play or something like that, though, and you feel good, you have a good smash, something, like don't even think about technical, though.
Yeah.
If you're a guy or gal who bangs the ball, smashes every single ball, kills it, super aggressive, then go with this paddle.
Right.
But if you want a little bit more control, touch, everything like that. So if you want more power, go with the power. If you want more control, go with the control. I really feel like this one you can really flick, accelerate, lots of movement. This one, it's more.
I'll accelerate with that paddle out of bounds.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going with that paddle.
This is like, in my opinion, straight up, this is like the S&P 500, and this is like Bitcoin. And what I mean by that is this is
bionic,
like very
your other word you use
this
to
is
describe
very
it.
stable, reliable, everything, right? This paddle, it's like, hey, you're either going to win or you're going to miss long or you're going to break your opponent's face because there's so much power. So this is way more risk.
It's so funny because I used to love that paddle.
I know.
It sounds like I don't like it anymore.
But I feel like but think about it, when we first started out, before we trained our drops and everything,
Yeah.
we were drive, bang, bang, bang. We didn't really use drops.
I have such a softer game now. That's why I like this
paddle,
yeah.
right? So, oh my gosh, there's so many different things. Both are amazing. Shout out to Selkirk. Selkirk is the best brand ever. We absolutely love working with them because not only they make amazing pickleball equipment, but they have an amazing team. They're so, what's the word? They're so, they give so much. They give so much value, not only online, not only offline, with their product, everything. It's just, they're such a great brand to work with, and we truly love working with them. And their pickleball paddles and gear, I got the hat,
yeah,
the shirt,
I had the jacket on that.
everything
I got so
are
hot.
absolutely amazing. Yeah, because in Florida it goes from like 40 to like 80 degrees in one day. You come out freezing, and then But if you want any type of Selkirk gear, make sure to use the link in our description. If you choose to purchase any of these Selkirk paddles, the best thing that you can do to help our channel and help our sponsorship is to click the link in our description, use our promo code that we have for you, ADV-Universal. Once again, if you click the link in the description, use our promo code ADV-Universal, you will be able to get a gift card with your purchase. So you get this beautiful paddle, you could get a hat, you could get a sweatshirt, you could get some balls, you get a gift card for another thing. Absolutely amazing.
And if you guys had any questions about this video, please leave them
know
in the comments and we will be sure to respond. You can say, hey, I like to play with power. Which paddle's best for me and my game? We can help you figure that out as well.
Yes, we can. And let us know in the comments which paddle you're leaning to, and if you tried the Power Air, if you tried the Control Air. Guys, let's make it a community. Let the community know your thoughts. Like, you guys
there are no wrong thoughts on a review.
Thoughts, Michelle's thoughts. Now, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. So when people go to this video, when they decide which paddle to purchase, they don't only have my thoughts and your thoughts. They have all these comments that tell about the paddles. So that would be amazing. You would be helping other YouTube viewers. Make sure to subscribe to all of our links in our description. Have a good one. Happy hitting. Try the paddles. They're amazing. And we'll see you guys next time on court.